Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to part 1 of my fun fold kimono cards with Crane of Fortune. Today I've got a fun fold card for you, and it's a kimono card. The Crane of Fortune bundle can be found on page 24 and is part of the Symbol of Fortune suite. This is going to be retiring in June. I thought I'd better use the bundle before it retires. Now, in Japanese culture, the crane is a symbol of good fortune and a sign of longevity. It also plays an important part in Chinese mythology, and in Chinese culture it's regarded as the prince of all feathered creatures. It also embodies longevity and peace, and it's the second most venerated bird symbol after the phoenix. I first saw this card a few years ago by Dolnoshevsky, an American demonstrator, and I haven't really had the opportunity to create one until I saw the Crane of Fortune bundle in the January to June 2022 mini. And I thought I'd have a go at making one. Her measurements were sized for American cardstock, but I've done mine this way, and you use the designer series paper. But when I came to putting it into the envelope, it was too big for the envelope. If I put it in like that, it's about 1/4 of an inch too short. So I had to resize it and make it smaller. So I came up with this one. The reason why I wanted it that size was because so this could be 3¼ inches inside. So in fact this piece of paper is 9 inches by 6 inches, and then you had leftovers, about 3-inch leftover, so I could do the OB with it, which is what I've done here. So there's no waste. You need the 6 by 12, and I used it all up. I reduced the size and made this much smaller, so now it measures 8¾ by 5 7/8, which is usually half an A4 sheet. My card size is half an A4 sheet. It measures 5 7/8 this way and 8¾ across that way. Then I added this piece, and instead of just a single, I decided to make it into a card. So that's 2½ by 7¾ so it's 3 7/8 tall. These are the dies that go with it, so it will cut out the crane and the stamped chrysanthemum. You have extras that will just die cut and emboss on plain cardstock, just as this one. This one will die cut that, and then you've got the little dragonflies. This is the Symbol of Fortune specialty designer series paper. There are 6 double-sided designs. One side has got gold foil on it. They're beautiful cranes. This die will actually die cut the chrysanthemums from this designer series paper sheet. I think you can get 6 whole ones from this sheet like that, and then you can get partial ones as well, so that won't go to waste. You can cut them all up. You could fussy cut these as well, and in order to cut the whole ones, I actually had to cut round the paper so that it wouldn't cut into the next one. So this card is really easy to assemble. All you need is just some designer series paper. Now I'm going to cut mine at 5 7/8. so it will fit into the envelope a little bit more easily. And then on the long side, I'm going to cut it at 8 3/4. Don't discard that because you need it for the OB. In metric, the cardstock measures 22 centimetres across by 14.5 centimetres. Then you score at 5.5 on one side, rotate it the other side and score at 5.5, but very lightly. It's just to help the paper bend. Basic white cardstock, cut at 7 3/4 inches by 2.5 inches and score on the long side at 3 7/8. So in metric that will be 19 centimetres by 6.5. You score at 9.5 centimetres. The inks I'm using are Soft Succulent, Smoky Slit and Crumb Cake and Pool Party. Also using another stamp set called After the Storm to stamp the clouds. A shimmer ribbon from the main catalogue. I'm running out of it, so I'm going to have to order some more. Now, because I wanted to maximise the card for the inside of the kimono, it is a funny measurement. Just bear with me. So it will be 2 3/16. You'll see that this is the 1/4 inch mark here, which is in line with the markings on the main board. So your 1/8 of an inch is half of that, half of the 1/4, and the 16th is half of the 1/8, which is here. So you need 2 3/16. 2, so it's 1, 2, 3. So it's just shy of the 2 1/4, and you lightly score at 2 1/4. Rotate the cardstock 180 degrees, 2 3/16 as well. Then you want to burnish one side. Make sure that the edges of the paper are in line with the edge of the paper underneath. And where you lightly scored, you want to bring that toward the centre so that the centre line meets. Hold on to it tight, and then you can crease your paper so that there are no gaps. Bring back your trimmer and align the left edge at 1 3/4 inches, and then cut 3/4 inches there and cut toward the top. Flip the designer series paper over and align at 1 3/4 inches again. Put your blade at the 3/4 inch mark and cut up toward the top. In metric, to cut, you align your paper at 4.5 centimetres and you cut from 2 centimetres up to the top. Flip the cardstock over and repeat. So align at 4.5 and cut from 2 centimetres up to the top. Then you want to fold the longer half and keep an eye on this edge here. You want the paper to be in line with the bottom of your kimono. And do the same on this side. So line that up. And reinforce it at the back as well. Open up your kimono, just tease the score line, and you can see this becomes like a box upright. So you just want to push that down like so. And there you have your kimono. First I'm going to ink up the large cloud in Pool Party and stamp off, then stamp on. Then then ink up the smaller cloud, stamp that off as well. Take this other die and I'm going to stamp some water down here. Stamp some greenery. I'm making it with a different paper so I won't need the crumb cake. Calypso coral and of course blending brushes. The insides, I'm just going to do one here. Smoky slate ink, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment inside. Take the blending brush and ink up with a bit of Calypso coral. I've swapped stamps and I've got the dragonflies, so I'll stamp that here. Next, ink up the crane in smoky slate. The legs parallel to the base of the card, and I'm just going to stamp him here. Bring back my kimono. I can glue that into the card. Now you want to cut your obi, so I'm going to cut that at 1.5, and in metric that will be just 4 centimeters. I'm going to wrap that round, center it onto here, just under the sleeves, and wrap it round. Not too tight, so that it can easily slip on and off. It doesn't quite reach, so you need to cut another piece that is 2 7/8 by 1.5, and in metric it will be 6.5. So let's cut another piece. That's 1.5 inches. By 2 7/8. Hold on to that tight and then just put a bit of adhesive on here. Slide that off and make sure that it's in line. Cut a piece of tear and tape and stick it on the middle here, and that's to anchor your ribbon down. And make sure you've got enough ribbon. Cut off a piece of ribbon and fold it in half, then you know halfway where it is. To tie the ribbon, just cross it over like so and pull that tight. Grab a glue dot and stick it underneath, and that's just to help you hold it in place while you tie your flat knot. And then you can trim off the excess. So there's my original, or you can have one that has the flap up. This, you can see this is quite a bit narrower and smaller, so we'll open that up. And that's your greeting on the inside. And this is the one I did with another designer series paper, and because this had mostly beige in it, I added some beige there. Before I go, here are some really simple cards. This one is just the one layer, and I just decorated it with the die cuts. And this is the die that cuts that out, and of course the little dragonflies. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Pop back for more inspiration next time, and part 2. Do give me a thumbs up if you like it, and I'd appreciate it if you share it as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.